Ignigi access to VIP. Oh, wanna say kanya my flesh we nana. Nothing is lying. Say nothing Chellah ne groupie. Ufuna backbone no nami. Nyala. Say nothing Chellah ne groupie. Ufuna backbone no nami. Nyala. Izinja zempilo ma. Umutotiti, otiti. Wama elista. Ufuna Chellah na ma elista. Relax, amuso penika. Sama yo mudi. Wama elista. Ufuna Chellah na ma elista. Relax, amuso penika.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules this evening to spend a few moments with me here on SML TV. Thank you so much. Hope you guys had a great week and you're looking forward to a productive, awesome weekend. I have a couple of things I just want to run by you, talk to you for a few moments. Won't keep you long. Maximum 25 minutes. Last, as we say here in Zambia. Before I get into my little talk with you, just a few shout outs. I love doing this. This is one of my favorite parts. Here it is. This is Joseph Walia says, I always appreciate your tailor for your suits. Incidentally, you know who made this suit is the guys over there at City Clothing. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm not one of these people that are able to walk into a store and look at a piece of clothing and say, you know what, I like that. I'm built in such a way that my clothes need to be tailored. And I've been experiencing that for many, many years. I can't remember the last time. I must have been about maybe 15 or 16 years old. The last time I bought an item of clothing, a major item of clothing, like a suit or, a jacket off the rack. Usually they don't fit me. I have to have it tailor-made. And so the guys over there at City Clothing, they made this for me. And I love to tell the story. City Clothing and our family, we've been family friends for decades. The man that owns City Clothing, who's a wonderful man, was very good friends with my father. You see that portrait over there? Some people ask me, they say, who is that over there? That's my dad. There's a young artist by the name of Kenna. He made a portrait out of eggshells, a portrait of my father there out of eggshells. And my dad used to go to City Clothing, and he used to get his clothes tailored. And now I go to City Clothing, and the man's sons and daughters are my friends. So thank you, City Clothing. Quick shout out to you guys for that. Thank you so much. Bless you. We love you. A few more comments here just to say hello to you guys. All right. Thank you so much. Agatha. Shindende. Thank you so much, Agatha. That's such a wonderful thing to say. The other day, someone says to me, that microphone is in your face. Well, I don't know what else to do with it. I've seen it done this way. How about like this? Can we do it like this? But then if I do it like this, it means I have to, because I've seen it done this way as well. How about that? Can we do that? But I don't like this. I'm not comfortable with this. I don't like this. Goodness, am I being too picky? What do you guys think? I don't like this. I'll be honest with you. I don't like it. And I certainly don't like the headphones. I don't like wearing these headphones, but apparently they say you should, or they recommend that you should. I don't know. See now I have to adjust it. Goodness gracious alive. Boy, I'll tell you what. Here it is. I'm going to have to see there. Someone says to me, well, it's in your face. Well, what am I supposed to do? For goodness sake. See there? Now it's all lopsided. See there? All right, here we go. How about that? Okay, I'm okay with this. I know it hides my face, but hey, we're not here to look at my face. All right, real quick. And again, thank you guys for tuning in and thank you for the shout outs. You're very kind. Thank you so much. Cheryl, Charity, Cherie, thank you. Thank you so much. Marvin, Mono, thank you. Bless you. Laura Kunks. Laura Kunks? Is that how you say this name? Laura Kunks? That can't be Kunks. It has to be Kunks. That's such an interesting name. I wonder what that means. Somebody, please educate me. Laura Kunks? That's such a unique name. I've never heard of that. Please tell me what it means. All right. Somebody says, Susie Mutanda says, is it in your face or on your face? Well, it's in my face. It's directly in my face, not in my head. There's a difference between being inside my head and in my face. In my face means literally up close, up to my head. I know it looks like it's in the way now. Now that you guys mention it, I now begin to notice that this thing is literally in my, what am I going to do? Goodness. All right, let's see if I can stretch it out a bit. Oh, goodness gracious. I've seen this done. All right, how about that? Can we do that? Is it less in my face? Incidentally, you know what they call this? This is a Shure microphone. This is the mic. These are legendary. These are legendary mics. Let me explain why. Michael Jackson recorded his Thriller album using the Shure microphone. That's a fact. This right here. Okay, real quick, let's get into it. What are we talking about today? Oh, we're talking about Chellah Tukuta and his antics. There's a thought. There's just something I wanted to run by you real quick. I always found it curious and interesting that Chellah Tukuta, and when I say Chellah Tukuta, for those of you that are just joining us and you do not know who this is, Chellah Tukuta is one of he's a very renowned photographer, Zambian photographer that joined partisan politics. He's part of the biggest opposition party here in Zambia called the United Party for National Development. Chellah Tukuta aligned himself with the largest opposition party in the country. And he didn't become a spokesperson, but he did on many occasions speak and was cloaked in the UPND as he spoke. I wouldn't consider him as a spokesperson. I don't think that, he sat around with Mr. Hakainde Hichilema and Mr. Hichilema says to him, well, go out there and say this. I think Chellah had his own sort of view of things and he filtered it through the UPND to some degree. There were several things that I found a little uncomfortable once he made it clear that he was fully aligned with the largest opposition party in the country. One of the things that bothered me is that he began to do a side hustle where he would come on Facebook dressed as a woman, and he had an alter ego, or a character that he created. He created a female character for the purpose of entertainment. Now, I forget the name of the female character. Please tell me in the comments below, for those of you that remember that name. I never did follow that character, but every so often I would see Chellah Tukuta dressed in women's clothing or women's attire or women's apparel, and he would often don a wig, and he would create this character, this female character. Oh, right, that's right. Praise Mabi. Thank you so much. Praise says Antics. Yes. So Chellah Tukuta, being the renowned photographer that he was, and he ultimately became aligned with the largest opposition party in the country. While doing that, he created this character, Antics. Now, this is where I have a problem. I never did like that he did that. Why? Because I feel that he should have been laser focused. The United Party for National Development should have sat him down and told him in no uncertain terms that, Guy, we have one agenda, we have one goal, we have one objective, and the only thing that should occupy your plate or our plates, being this large opposition effort, is to win the election. We should not say, do anything that will distract, that will deflect attention or focus from the goal of attaining power. They should have sat down with him and told him that. But unfortunately, he didn't seem to sort of lean in that direction. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that to some degree hurt the United Party for National Development. We all want to entertain. We all want to be entertained. But I think that when it comes to matters of, not only matters of political seriousness and real politics, I think it's important to be focused, not just focused, but laser focused. And I think that Chellah didn't do that. He wasn't focused. And it gave way for the UPND's political opponents to prod and pick and sort of jab at this character that Chellah Tukuta had created. And that's one of the antics that I was always very uncomfortable with. So, but he continued with that. And then the other thing that I found abhorrent, I found repugnant, I found tasteless, I found abrasive, I found so offensive, was that Chellah went on this rampage where he began to talk about people, and he used the most vile, the most repugnant language that you've ever heard. I'm not a big fan of Edith Nawakwi. I'm not. I mean, I've met her a few times, and each time I've met her, you know, she's always been very cordial. But there were things in Miss Nawakwi's political life that I just didn't like, you know. But as much as I disagree with Miss Nawakwi on certain points, I was never comfortable with the way Chellah Tukuta talked about Edith Nawakwi. That always left a very bad taste in my mouth. I never did like that. I'm one of these people that believes that if you have some type of divergent view politically, your view should be focused on your divergent view. It should not veer off and start talking about someone's personal life and someone's sexuality or someone's the way they appear or someone's libido or whatever it is. Focus, major on the majors and minor on the minors. I mean, this is the handbook. You guys, anyone that does that reads from the handbook of this guy that I constantly I constantly tear into, this false prophet from Nigeria by the name of Andrew Ejimadu. You call him seer one. He's not a seer. But Andrew's handbook is exactly that. He vilifies you. He talks about your physicality. He lies about things that have to do with your personal life, your sexuality, and things like that. When you are a politician, you sort of water down your message when you begin to talk like that. And so when Chellah went after Edith Nawakwi and he started talking about the things that he talked about, I thought that watered down their message, and I never did like that. And so now we come to the issue, and I talked about it very briefly yesterday, of saying things on social media that have landed him in prison. And I've always felt that the UPND should have sort of reined him in a bit on that, but they didn't do that, and I think now Chellah's paying the price for that. And the question now remains: will Chellah stay in prison? The word on the street is that the UPND are working on getting bail, getting some type of bail for him, and that's possible if they appeal and they argue on the fine points of the law and they convince the judge that, an appeal is necessary. He could get out, he could be given bail pending trial. But I think all of this should serve as a lesson for him. And the lesson is, and I said it yesterday, and please forgive my repetitiveness, I will say it again today. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Social media now has changed, as I said. The digital landscape has completely changed. It's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. When someone presses you and they apply the law on what you have said on social media, and you have no way to substantiate that, you could potentially be in trouble. So I would hope that, we know Chellah Tukuta is not going away. He'll only be silent for a while. He'll spend whatever time it is in prison, but ultimately he'll come out and he'll pick up the pieces. This is not the end of his life. This is just a bad chapter in his life. He'll get over this, but he'll only get over it and overcome it and conquer it if he learns the lesson. Oprah Winfrey used to say that, God teaches us lessons in varying degrees. He drops a pebble on our head. You know what a pebble is? A little stone on our head. And if we don't get it, he drops of course, this is not theologically correct, but I think the example is valid. If you don't get it, you get a brick on your head. And if you don't get it after the brick hits you, sometimes a whole house has to fall on your head for you to finally say, oh, kanche. My grandfather, my mother's dad, he used to say, he would teach us these lessons. And then when we wouldn't get it, and then finally, when something happens that would validate his lesson, he would say, it's the same thing. I'm hoping that Chellah Tukuta learns the lesson. And what's the lesson? The lesson is, if you're going to use social media, use it correctly. Use it in the right way. Otherwise, if you don't, you get in trouble for it. Okay. That's all I wanted to say about that. The last thing I want to talk to you about, you know what this is? This is a vaccine card. As many of you know, I've had my second dose of the COVID vaccine shot, and I'm encouraging you, all of you, whomever you are, do everything within your power to go get the vaccine. Don't listen to conspiracy theories. I was very pleased just a few hours ago. I read this on the news, and I want to throw it up here. Lusaka province has run out of COVID-19 vaccines for the first dose, which kicked off on July the 9th, 2021. This is due to the overwhelming response the vaccination exercise has received. This is good news. I'm very pleased to hear this, because you know what this means? It means the vast majority of our people are beginning to embrace the reality that they need the vaccine. We all need the vaccine. Guys, the only line of defense we have is the vaccine. Masks are great. Social distancing is fantastic. Washing our hands is vital, almost critical. But what is absolutely imperative to do is to get the vaccine. Do not be misled by misinformation. The same issues that we're struggling with here in Africa are the same issues our friends in America, in Great Britain, in Slovenia, in Czechoslovakia, in wherever it is. Does Czechoslovakia still exist? Well, they did when I was a kid. The same issues we're dealing with are the same issues they're dealing with. There are people in America. Do you realize that in America there's a whole group of people? They're called the anti-vax movement. It's the anti-vaccine movement. There are people out there that have created whole organizations that try to convince people don't get the vaccine. But there's a remnant of people that believe, and which I believe as well, it's important to get the vaccine. Why do you think that, for example, in England, and I've given this example before, but I have to repeat this because I think it's important. We have to repeat this until the message gets through. How do you think that the British people are able to go back to all these stadiums or stadia? Somebody the other day says to me, Mr. Moyo, it's not the plural of stadiums. Stadium is stadia. Well, the truth is both are correct. You can say stadiums. You can also say stadia. Both are correct. How do you think that the people in England are able to go back to watching football in huge groups of people? It's because they've been vaccinated. They're able to cheer and shout and celebrate in close proximity because they are vaccinated. The vaccine is there to help you fight the COVID vaccine, the COVID-19 much better. It doesn't mean when you get the vaccine that you cannot get COVID-19. Yes, you can, but here's the difference. You're able to fight it better. You're better off with the vaccine than without it. Very important. Because, there's some people say, no, even if I get the vaccine, I'll still get COVID. True, but your body is able to fight it much, much better with the vaccine in you. Okay? Very, very important. Get the vaccine. Okay? Love you guys. Have a good evening. Bye.